sudah ditansi pas de karam टेस्ट करता है तो बड़ा कठिन है तरी ये तो पूरा चलता है और उसमें तो बहुत बड़ा टेस्ट का सिस्टम YouTube पे ये लाइव है ऑडियो सुनने अच्छा कर बंदी बंदी Mari, mari YouTube पे sekarang. Forum. Okay. Raghuram जल्दी दिला. Okay, सर सर. Okay. ಕೂತ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ ಇವತ್ತು ತುಂಬಾ ಜನ ಇರ್ಲಿಕ್ಕಿಲ್ಲ ಇವತ್ತು.
ಹೌದಾ? ಸ್ಯಾಟರ್ಡೇ ಅಲ್ವಾ ಅಂದ್ರೆ? ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಹುಡುಗಿನಾದ್ರು ಹೋಗಿದ್ದಾರೆ ನಾನು. ಇವತ್ತೇನೋ ಇದು ಇದೆ ಇದಾದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಮೀಟಿಂಗ್
6 o'clock ಇದೆ. ನೀವು ಇದ್ದೀರಲ್ಲ ಅನ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದೀರಲ್ಲ?
ಹೌದು. ದೀಪ್ತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾರು?
ಅವ್ರು ಬೇರೆ ಮಾತಾಡ್ತೀವಿ.
ನೀವೀಗ ಕೆರೆ ಕಣ್ಣಿಗೆ ಬಂದಿದ್ದಲ್ಲ? ಸ್ಯಾಟರ್ಡೇ ಆಗಿರೋದ್ರಿಂದ ಟ್ರಾಫಿಕ್ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಇದೆ ಇವತ್ತು. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಈ ಟೈಮಲ್ಲಿ ಯೂಶಲಿ ಎಲ್ಲ ಹೊರಗಡೆ ಹೋಗ್ತಿರ್ತಾರಲ್ಲ, ವೀಕೆಂಡ್ ಆಗಿರೋದ್ರಿಂದ. ನಾನು ಅದೇ ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದೆ, ನಿನ್ನೆ ದಿವಸ ಅನ್ಕಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಅನ್ಕೊಂಡೆ. ನೆನ್ನೆ ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ವಿ ಒಳ್ಳೆ
ಹೌದು. ಫೇಸ್ಬುಕ್ ನೋಡ್ತೀರಾ? ಫೇಸ್ಬುಕ್ ಯೂಟ್ಯೂಬ್ ಅವ್ರು ಕನ್ಫರ್ಮ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು. ಫೇಸ್ಬುಕ್ ನೋಡ್ಕೊಂಬೋದು.
ಯೂಟ್ಯೂಬ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಬರ್ತಿದೆ ಇದನ್ನು ಚೆಕ್
ಸೌಂಡ್ ಟೆಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಸೌಂಡ್
Hello, testing, testing. Hello, hello. Hello, testing. Hello, hello, testing. Hello, hello.
ಬಂತು ಅನ್ಸುತ್ತೆ ಹೌದು
ಸೌಂಡ್ ಬರ್ತಾ ಇದೆ ಯೂಟ್ಯೂಬ್ ಬರ್ತಾ ಇರ್ಬೇಕಲ್ಲ
ಯೂಟ್ಯೂಬ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಫೇಸ್ಬುಕ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಚೆಕ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಫೇಸ್ಬುಕ್ ಯಾವಾಗಲೂ ಡಿಲೇ ಇದೆ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ
ಬಟ್ ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಆನ್ ಲೈವ್ ಬೇರೆ ಫೇಸ್ಬುಕ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಬೇರೆ ಯಾವ್ದ್ರ ಮೇಲೆ ನೀವು ಕ್ಲಿಕ್ ಮಾಡಿರಬಾರ್ದು ಏನಾದ್ರು ಬೇರೆ ಯಾವ್ದಾದ್ರು ಇದೆಯಾ ನಮಸ್ತೆ ಬರ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ 2 minutes ಅಂತೆ
ಬರ್ತಿದೆ
ಹೌದಾ
ಹೇಳಿದ್ರಲ್ಲ ಇನ್ನೊಬ್ಬನೇ ಬಂದಂತ ನಾನು ಫುಲ್ ಸ್ಕ್ರೀನ್ ಇಂದ ಹೊರಗಡೆ ಬಂದೆ ಹಳೇದು ಓಪನ್
ಇರ್ಬೋದು
ಹಳೇದ ಓಪನ್ ಮಾಡಿರ್ತೀನಿ ಸ್ಕ್ರೀನ್ ಹಂಗೆ ಇರುತ್ತೆ ನಾವು ಮತ್ತೆ ಅದನ್ನ ಕ್ಲಿಕ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಹಳೇದು ಏನಿರುತ್ತೆ ಆ ಪೇಜ್ ರಿಫ್ರೆಶ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ
ರಮ್ಯಾ ಅವರು ಯೂಟ್ಯೂಬ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರು
ಓಕೆ ಬರ್ತಾ ಇದೆಯಾ
ಯೂಟ್ಯೂಬ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನನಗೆ ಇನ್ಸೈಡ್ ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಕಮಿಂಗ್ ಅಪ್ ಫೇಸ್ಬುಕ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇನ್ಸೈಡ್ ಇಟ್ಸ್
ಓಕೆ ಇದೊಂದೇ ಬರ್ಬೇಕು ಇವಾಗ ಇಷ್ಟೊಂದು ಬರ್ತಾ ಇದೆಯಾ
ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನನಗೆ ವೆರಿ ಸೆನ್ಸಿಟಿವ್ ಟು
ಇಲ್ಲ ಬರ್ತಾ ಇದೆ ನನಗೆ ಒಬ್ಬನೇ ಇದ್ದ ಬೆಳಗ್ಗೆ ನಾನು ಬೆಳಗ್ಗೆ ಒಳ್ಳೆ ಜಿಲ್ಲೆ ಎಲ್ಲ ಇರುವೆ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಬಿಸಿಲಲ್ಲ
ಎಷ್ಟು ಇದಾದರೂ
ಕಾಣದೇ ಹೌದು
ಅದಿರೋದು ಏನಂದ್ರೆ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಸಿಮೆಂಟ್ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಟ್ರಾಫಿಕ್ ಇತ್ತೇನಾ
ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಇಲ್ಲಿ
ಹೌದು
ಬಾಟಲ್ ನೆಕ್ ಹತ್ರ
ಅದೇನಂದ್ರೆ ಸ್ಯಾಟರ್ಡೇ ಇರೋದ್ರಿಂದೆಲ್ಲ
ಸ್ಯಾಟರ್ಡೇ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಲಾಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಪೀಪಲ್ ಆರ್ ನಾಟ್ ಯೂಸ್ ಟು ಕಾರ್ಸ್ ಡ್ಯೂರಿಂಗ್ ವೀಕೆಂಡ್ ಅವ್ರ ವೀಕೆಂಡ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ತಗೊಂಡ್ಬರ್ತಾರೆ
ಫ್ಯಾಮಿಲಿ
ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಲೈಕ್ ದಟ್
ಇದೆಲ್ಲ ಇಷ್ಟೊಂದು
ಏನ್ ಹೇಳ್ಬೇಕಂತ ಹೇಳಿ
ಸರ್
ವಾಟ್ ಇಸ್ ದಟ್ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಟೆಲ್ ದಿಸ್ ಟುಡೇ
deeper into the
ಲಾಸ್ಟ್
ಎನಿ ಪರ್ಟಿಕ್ಯುಲರ್ ಥಿಂಗ್ ದಟ್ ಎಲ್ಲಾದ್ರೂ ಹೇಳ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ತಿಳಿಸ್ಬೇಕು
ವಿಷಯ
ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಕುತ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. ನಿಮ್ದು ಹಾಕೊಡ್ರಲ್ಲ ಓಕೆ.
I think one of the last things you ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು ಇದು the garden of roses, how a person, a pessimist versus an optimist
Yes.
looks at the scenario. That's one of the last things you spoke.
Arna Rosa.
Even including our Shanti Mantra also says that.
Yeah. So now,
ಮಾತಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಒಂದು ಇಂಗ್ಲೀಷ್ ಮಂತ್ರ ಹೇಳ್ಬಿಡಿ. ಋಗ್ವೇದ ಮಂತ್ರ ಇದೆ ಅದು ಹೇಳಿ.
ಓಂ ಸಹನಾವವತು ಸಹನೌ ಭುನಕ್ತು ಸಹ ವೀರ್ಯಂಕರಮಾವಹೈ ತೇಜಸ್ವಿನಾವಧೀತಮಸ್ತು ಮಾ ವಿದ್ವಿಷಾವಹೈ. ಓಂ ಶಾಂತಿ ಶಾಂತಿ ಶಾಂತಿ.
ಎರಡು ಬರ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. ಎರಡು ಬರ್ತಾ ಇದೆ.
There are three major texts on yoga. Yeah, the things are, the additional texts, supporting texts, like for example, Patanjali Yoga Sutra is the main text. Then Hatha Yoga Pradipika is like a supporting text. Similarly, Yoga Upanishads, the supporting text. Like that, there are several other texts of yoga. So Patanjali Yoga Sutra is the main text. Bhagavad Gita is another main text, and Yoga Vasishta is the third major text on yoga. They are major texts on yoga because that in when Rama went into depression, and Vishwamitra says that only way that it can be solved is by Vedantic knowledge, and that's what Vasishta gives that. And I'm not competent, Vasishta is competent, so let's go to Vasishta. He takes Rama to Vasishta, and Vasishta gives him the teachings of yoga. So therefore,
Vishwamitra takes him to Vasishta.
sorry,
Vishwamitra takes Rama to
Rama
Vasishta.
to Vasishta. And Vasishta gives the teachings of yoga to Rama. That's why it is called as Yoga Vasishta. And it is an application because Rama was in depression, this was given. Actually, the original text must have been, original idea conversation must have been short. But only thing is that when later on when people were making the text out of it, they might have added several anecdotes to that to support. Like, you are not the only person who went into this kind of situation. There were earlier people who went into similar kind of situations. So therefore, as the explanation goes on of various situations, they added several stories. And the stories may not be the stories before Ramayana, but there were stories after Ramayana also they have added. It is for the sake of reader's benefit. So you can find Pandava story there also. Pandava came much later, but that's okay. So in the Vedanta philosophy, that's accepted as long as that you convey the message of what it is like. So it talks about Prahlada story is there, Gadi story is there, and somewhere all those stories are there. But together with that, Arjuna story is also there, and Bhima story is also there. So all these things are added. That is fine. But then there is a purpose for which that yoga has been given, and the purpose is solved. Is it solved? Did it solve the purpose? Yes, because after Vasishta gave the teachings of to Rama about yoga, the next Vasishta Rama says that now my mind is clear, and he goes with Vishwamitra. So, but why that was to be given? Because Rama is born with a big project in his hand, and that's what Vasishta knows about it. Everybody knows about it. His birth is something which is very special, but then he went into depression. He cannot solve that problem. So
So,
they
Raghuramji, this was when Rama already went to forest?
no before that.
Or,
So that's what I'm coming to know.
okay.
Then what happened is Vishwamitra takes Rama, and then they go to Vishwamitra Ashrama.
Okay, okay.
There, when Rama sleeps, next morning when he gets up, Vasishta wakes him up. Vishwamitra wakes him up. Vishwamitra was with him. And the shloka that in Ramayana, waking up Rama by Vishwamitra, the shloka was Kausalya Supraja Rama Purva Sankhya Pravartate Uttishta Narashartula Kartavyam Daivamanikam.
So that is told by Vishwamitra.
Vishwamitra to Rama, Daivamanikam Kartavyam Kuru. That means to say, you are not an ordinary person, wake up, because you have a Daivamanikam Kartavyam. That means to say, God allotted work to you. So from then onwards, you can see that Rama's activities, how it unfolds. First of all, Vasishta gives him, Vishwamitra gives him all the weapons and says all those things, and then takes him to Sita, they get married, and then they go to the forest. So look at the whole sequences. It has changed. If imagine Rama would have been in depression, what would have happened to all these things? So therefore, somebody to come out of depression, yoga is useful. And therefore, the definition of yoga given by Vasishta, in Yoga Vasishta also in that direction. Because depression is generally what happened to the mind. So, and mind is disturbed, agitated, mind is confused. So their mind is agitated. So therefore, a calm state of mind, agitated state of mind to calm down, that is what is yoga. Very definition that Vasishta gives the definition to Rama is Mana Prashamana Upaya. Upaya is a technique. Prashamana is calming down. Where it is manas. So Mana Prashamana Upaya Yoga iti Abhidiyate. This is the way yoga is given. So therefore it is a purpose, a situation oriented. On the other hand, the whole effort that Krishna has taken to find out Pandavas and train them and groom them in the field of dharma, because he wanted to establish dharma. Actually, the dialogue goes on between Sandipani and Krishna. When he finished school, after finishing school, Sandipani asked that, so Rama, Krishna, that I have given you, but actually there is no need for me to give because I know that you are somebody who is born with a purpose. At that time, when it was about me, at that point of time, other rishis also come in. And they said, Krishna, that you have a job on hand. And what is that? Establish dharma. So for that, who can establish dharma? Then said Pandavas will establish, and all that story goes on. It's a huge activity that takes place. He brings out Pandavas and all these things. And at that time also Krishna says to Pandavas, you are going to go through the hardships. It's not so simple because establishing dharma is not simple. So they had gone to Aranyavasa, then Ajnatavasa, all those things finished. So that means he prepared Arjuna for all these things. And step by step you can see in Mahabharata, just only focus on Krishna Arjuna dialogues, right from the time that Pandavas were brought out, it was focused in such a way that Pandavas, particularly Arjuna, who was supposed to be the leader of Pandavas in the war field, to establish Dharma. After all those things, he brought him to the battlefield, and this fellow in the battlefield says, "No, I don't want to fight war. I will run away into the forest." Look at what happened. All that effort he has taken is dropped into the thin air. So, therefore, at that point of time, see, still he had certain problems in his mind to bring it out that Krishna is very smart guy, smarter than anybody else. That's why he could have kept the chariot in front of Duryodhana. He would have been very angry, upset, and Duryodhana, Dushasana, he would have gone up for war. But it is not Dharma Yuddha because anger would have made him to fight the war. Therefore, he kept the chariot in between Bhishma and Drona, his teacher and his grandfather. So naturally, there is no anger in him. But then anger is not there, therefore he got into confusion. So therefore, he says, "I want to run away from the battlefield." But Arjuna Krishna very clearly knows that he runs away to the battlefield. There also he will be useless, and here also he will be useless. So we have to make him proactive. Like the way Vasishtha made Rama proactive, now Krishna's challenge is to make Arjuna proactive. So therefore, it is not because of anger that he has to become active, but because of wisdom to establish dharma, he has to become proactive. So that is why whole of Bhagavad Gita is given. If Krishna only has to say to Arjuna, "Go and fight the war, and you kill all these people," etc., they have been all nonsense, then Gita wouldn't have been such a long story. It has been first chapter, Arjuna gives his problem, and second chapter, Krishna will say, "Come on, you do this, you do that, you are a Kshatriya, go and fight the war." And so much of insult has been done to this. All these things we have said, then directly would have asked him to go and fight war. But then he didn't want that to happen. It has to come from within. That's the reason there were 18 chapters. Otherwise, Bhagavad Gita would have been 2 chapters, we would have to bother about that. But 18 chapters are there because that finally Krishna says to Arjuna, "Yathechasi tatha kuru," do whatever you want to do it. So the decision to fight the war comes from Arjuna, and decision to comes from the Arjuna to establish dharma, not anything else. So that is the basic term that he has given. So here, these two cases, there is a purpose, and that's why wanting to make him proactive. That's the reason. If you look at the definitions of yoga given by Krishna in Bhagavad Gita, they're all proactive to karma. That's why he says that karmani have been these sutras, like for example. Shruti vipratiparnate yathasya siti nischalaha samadho achala buddhi tatha yoga bhavakshasi. That's what is yoga. Therefore, same thing is the karma supposal, yoga karma supposal. Definition of yoga is based on karma point of view. But Patanjali does not have any purpose, any particular goal. He is absolutely like a scientist. Scientist does not have any particular agenda to write. The truth he gives. Patanjali has given that way whatever the truth is there, because he has no purpose. So therefore, only gave what is supposed to be the sutra, which is what is supposed to be science, which has come from ancient times, is hold of yoga, and he wants to give that. So that means yoga has been there for last several thousands of years before that, and you can see that in Upanishad also there is reference of yoga. One of the differences to Upanishad yoga gives is tam yoga vidmanyante sthiram like. So all those ideas of yoga that is there, Patanjali put them in the form of Yoga Sutras. It is like the way that geometry has always been in the nature. Only thing is Euclid came and gave the formulae for geometry, sutras. So that what happens once you give the formulae, then it can be used anywhere. A plus B whole square is A square plus B square plus 2AB. It's a formula. Now A can be anything, B can be anything, and then you can use it all the time. So therefore the formula has to be given. That's what Patanjali has given, the formula. school student, the child came back crying home and said, what happened? The math didn't do well. Why? Because he looked at the answer question book, question paper, it was very clear that 4 oranges plus 10 oranges is equal to 14 oranges. But she did not do that. Why? Because I was only told apple math, not orange math. So that so this way that a yoga sutra that is given is something, anything in the name of yoga should fall under the category of within the definitions given by Patanjali Yoga Sutras. If it falls outside that, it is not yoga. It's as simple as that. Today you can see that all this bead yoga, this yoga, that yoga, heart yoga, are not yoga because that they don't fall in the category of definition given by Patanjali. It's very simple.
So, Raghuramji, one thing, when we talk about Karma Yoga or any yoga, in this
Right.
context, in your context,
Yes.
it is not the for sure asanas. It is
Right.
the state at which we are striving to, right?
Right.
Or
Asanas and all that, there are some means are there, methods are there, fringes are there.
right.
That's all. Don't have to go into that.
But for all of us to really understand the context of that word yoga,
Yes.
yoga means you can say that as philosophy or Indian philosophy
You see,
or
essentially, now look at the logically also. Arjuna is ready for fighting the war.
correct.
Doesn't require any physical fitness. But his physical fitness was not useful because of his cluttered mind. So therefore, that to clear the cluttered mind, Krishna used this yoga. Otherwise, he was not giving any physical fitness.
Correct.
Same way, Rama had everything. Only thing is that his depression was not anything to do with that. So to come out of it, that was given yoga. So we also may have every facility, but what happens is that if it is not applicable at the right time, then what is the use of it? Like for example, a student in the medical college came to me, a brilliant student with a lady, and then she had all the knowledge about medicine. When you ask otherwise, that she was very good in a casual talk, excellent. But she went to the exam hall, the hand did not move on the paper. The pen did not move. She could not write it. He was sitting and crying. He did not do anything. That was the time she was brought to me. So then we had to give yoga. Not that she did not know medicine, knowledge, not know that we have to teach that. But to see that what is blocking her ability to manifest. That's what we need to do. Something else was clouding that. This is what Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita. Patanjali gives in the sutras. Very simple idea Patanjali gives. The more and more that I try to understand, he put it such a simple language. He said, the world is outside and you are there inside and you interact with the world. This interaction is something we all have to do it, and that interaction is nothing wrong about it. Interaction, he calls it as vritti. And we know that vritti means occupation. How to work? Everybody has to work. It's something vritti. So vritti, when we are there in the world outside, and for going to the world outside, I use the senses. Senses are the last point from me to get into the world. My eyes see, my ears hear, my hand touches. So therefore, this is what. But when the vritti is not there, I go back to myself. Yes, in the sleep, I go back to myself. I'm not in the vritti. I come out of it. I don't be there. It's a common thing. Not only we do, every child does it. Everybody does it. So therefore, what happens is that you go back. When the vritti is not there, vritti nirota, then yoga. Yoga means you are in yourself. And when you are in yourself, that's what is jivatma. We call technically jivatma when we call it. It is nothing but Paramatma. There is no difference. It's like the way a soap bubble. Inside and outside is the same air. Everything is separated by thin film. In the sleep also like that, you are also Brahman. Only thing difference is a small little surface that is separating you and him, Brahman. That's what is the idea. So, tatha drashtuhu swarupe avastham. You go back to your swarupa. Vritti is going right to the outside. Vritti is not a problem. In fact, going out into the world outside is the very nature of the mind itself. Chanchalam ki mano dharma yadavahne jale like the way fire burning is the nature of the fire. Fire burns, but only thing is, oh, fire is bad, it burns my house. You used it for burning your house. For cooking the food, that is okay. So where you use it, it's important. Intellect also is like that. Intellect is a wonderful tool, but where you use it is important. Like my granddaughter comes to me and says, Tata, let's play hide and seek. I said, okay. And then she say, I will count 20, you hide. And then I go somewhere and then she counts. I say to her, you count low, because I should know that you are counting. So she counts. She goes to the wall. Now, of course, she's doing it. Earlier, he goes to the wall and says, 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 43, 16, 17, 5. And after some time, she says 20. And 20 is over. Is it in the order? If you use intellect, you are in trouble. Don't use intellect. You enjoy. So that's all. Where we have to use intellect, use it. Where you don't have to use it, don't use it. We have the boss, we have the master. All these in between, you and the world, is all in the various tools are there to use. Intellect is there, mind is there, memory is there, everything is there. Use it for the purpose that you interact with the world. Don't get stuck. Just come out of it, then you don't want to. So I said that intellect is there is a wonderful tool. Yes, today intellect has made the Chandrayaan such a wonderful, powerful intellect. Just very peaceful. That's it. That we don't want to use it. In fact, more powerful instrument use more sparingly. Sharp knife, don't use it everywhere. For vegetable cutting, I use that. I don't do that. So that way, basically, we have to be boss master. But then what happens is that we get stuck up in the world outside. We leave the world, but the world continues with us, even though we give up that work. And then we go to the next work, but that previous work is hanging on us. Like for example, husband is a liar. And he's after all a husband. Husband is a role that we play. He comes home, but the liar doesn't leave him. So he argues with his wife. Wife says, be my husband, don't be a liar here. Then don't bring in your liar here. See, you are free. See, this is what a mirror does that. It's not a big art. Mirror does that. Whatever that is there in front, mirror reflects it. It goes away, mirror faces it. Why don't we also do that? Somebody who understands this immediately becomes free. There's no need for him to do any practices. Jnapakamiti Shastra. Shastra says, if you understand this, then I don't need to give any technique. But then, it's so difficult to come out of that. It's impossible. You see, very simple idea. A pendulum which goes on this side is the pendulum which goes on the other side. No, my pendulum only goes this way. It doesn't come back. Allow it to come back, that's a simple thing. What? You're holding it somewhere, come back. So that is the idea, simple thing. Give up the hold. How to give up? Then the techniques come. Because basically, it's not only our problem, in Arjuna's problem also. Arjuna says, Krishna, so easy to say. You calm down the mind, bring the mind back to the self. But mind is so chanchala. Chanchalam mana Krishna, prabhati balabhadritam, tasyam nigraham manye, sai vayo riva sudushkaram. My God, it's so difficult. Tasyam nigraham manye, vayo riva. It's more difficult to control the mind. Vayo riva, it is more difficult than the wind itself. The analogy that he uses is very beautiful. So wind is something we can't see, but you feel the wind coming. And you can put a door, you can put a wall, you can put a window, so that wind will not come on this side. Mind also is something that you cannot see. Mind is also that's going on. But then you can't put any wall for the mind. Because the moment you put the wall for the mind always thinks what's happening on the other side of the wall. It doesn't stay on this side, it stays on the other side. There is another analogy, important point of the analogy. This is, Vayu is pranavayu, respiration. Whether you want it or not, respiration continues to go on. Whether you are asleep, wakeful, how deep sleep may be, respiration continues to go on. and you don't even know that it's going on. And you don't have to do anything for it to go on. Mind also is going like that. So, pranavayu and mind, both these things are very similar. See, that's what is the law of, analogy that we use is similarity. So, mind and prana also is similar. Vayu or Sutishkaram, that means more difficult to control the mind than wind, pranavayu. I can hold the breath at this for a few seconds. I can give simple idea saying that come on, let's start doing something and inhale and hold the breath for a count of 10. For a count of 10, you can hold the breath. But for the count of 10, you can't hold the mind. Okay, let us sit down quietly and then let's not do anything. Let's meditate. Don't think of donkey. Mind has already gone to donkey. You have never thought about donkey. Lifetime you have never seen donkey. Donkey was never useful for us. And such a, because that I suggested, it goes there. That's what happened. Lifetime, Adam was there in that forest, and the fruit trees were there. Everything was there. And everything was fine. Even Adam, everything was fine. But this God fellow came and said, everything is fine, but don't eat that apple. Finish. He went and ate that apple only. So whose mistake? Is it Adam's mistake or God's mistake? So this is what the problem of the mind. Mind, we have, you can see very number of examples. Child is running first time the bicycle, very happy, excited. He tells, Mom, look at me, I'm riding the bicycle. Mom says, wonderful, Chapita, you are very good. Nice. But don't hit the electric pole. The electric pole is outside the road. Now this fellow goes and hits the electric pole. What you don't want to do, it might goes and do it. That's what Arjuna complains to Krishna, saying that Pramad Balvadram Tasyaham Vigraham Ange Vayu. It's more difficult to control the wind than the mind. And Krishna acknowledges that. Great thing of Krishna is Asamshayam Mahabaho. He uses every word is so carefully. Asamshayam, I have absolutely no doubt about it. What you said. If I say something and you say you can't do it, Arey, what is this nonsense? So I have no doubt about it. And he uses the adjective for Krishna, uses the adjective for Arjuna, Mahabhaho. That means you are a great person. Asamshayam Mahabhaho Manaha Durnigraha. Mind is very difficult to control. But there you should see, he did not say it is impossible. Manaha Durnigraham Jaya. Abhyasena Utpamte Vairagyena Chayate. Now he comes with the techniques to control the mind. There are essentially all the techniques of yoga are divided into these two techniques. One is called as Abhyasa and the other is Vairagya. Abhyasena Utpamte Vairagyena Chayate. By these two ways that you can do it. Abhyasa in a coarse, simple language, Abhyasa means discipline. And Vairagya means non-attachment. Let go. And there is Ekavakyate, the whole of philosophy. These two are the ways that you can divide every practice of yoga into categories. This is what even Yoga Vasishtha also gives the same idea. Patanjali also gives the same idea. Patanjali gives, he says that control the mind and all that, and then all these things he gives. Then how do we do that? Patanjali says, Abhyasa Vairagyabhyam Tannirodha. Vivachana he uses. That means with the help of Abhyasa and Vairagya, you can nirodha, you can come out of the vasanas, vritti of the mind and get back to the self. And Yoga Vasishtha puts it a little different way, but then again two systems. He says, Vasishtha says to Rama, Dokramo Chittanashaya Rama, there are two methods by which you can do. Dokramaha methods. Chittanashaya. Yogam Jnanam Charagava, Yogaha Tatvritti Rodhavi, Jnanam Samyakara. There he uses yoga for discipline, Jnana is for non-attachment. So these are the two techniques by which that you can control of this. So that means now, let me make it very clear. First thing is vritti is important, work is important, but coming out of the work is also important, and that you have ability to do it, you can come back. So therefore, consciously when you do it, that's what is yoga, it happens. So they, whether it is Patanjali who has given, or whether it is Krishna who has given, they did not reject the world outside. World is wonderful place. So therefore, in the world that you are involved, you can do that way such a way that you can free yourself from the world when you don't want to know it. What is the advantage of it? Why we come out of it? Now, this is where the idea of vritti comes to the picture. Vritti means actually activity. That's what you say, that what is your vritti? An application form that is there, Aadhaar card form. So,
Raghuramji, the vritti that Patanjali uses, like Chitta Vritti Nirodha and the karma mentioned in Bhagavad Gita, those are two different things.
everything is the same.
Okay.
It comes from the same vritti, vrittam. Vrittam is also circle.
Yeah, circle. But he, Patanjali says Chitta Vritti Nirodha.
No, that's what. Now, I will come back to that. That is the only thing. I said a circle cannot exist without the center. And every definition of center is that which does not have any dimension. See, center doesn't exist. But without center, vritti does not exist. And the advantage with that is that same center you can draw so many several circles with the different radii that you can draw several circles. So the Patanjali also is very clear about that. The same vritti is talking about. You are supposed to be the center. That means you don't exist in the world. But you come to the world only for working, for the purpose of work. Like for example, I take the vritti that I am an engineer. Engineering is a vritti. I come out of it. But that's only one vritti. But other vritti is there. You come home, you are a mother also. A mother vritti is there. But you are also a husband, you are also a wife. Therefore, a wife vritti is also there. So each one is capable of handling 5-6 different vrittis with the same concentric center. And when can you go back to the other vritti? Is that when you come back to the center, with the reference to the center, others are coming there. If you do not come out of one vritti, and if you are doing the other vritti, with the center on another vritti, then you are lost. So that's the reason why, if I have to be efficient in the work, I have to come out of the vritti to do the next vritti. Like Arjuna, when he was in the battlefield, he was supposed to be the chief of the army. Period. That's the vritti he has to do. But then look at the way he stands there. Oh, my grandfather. Oh, my teacher. Arey, they are not there. They are enemies for you. But then why did you get into that? Because you have a vritti confusion. Vritti.
Say, Raghuramji, you told about we have to come out from one
Yes.
center
Right.
to be active in other activity. It is like being mindful. Is it like being mindful?
Actually, that's also a very important idea. Mindfulness, often people have a wrong notion about mindfulness means mind is full with various activities. It's not like that. My total personality is doing a work. It's just not only mindfulness, in the Indian philosophy, all the Panchakoshas, everything is doing the same work. I may be doing, it may be a very simple work, but am I there 100% on that?
Be at the present.
Mine has a total personality, as integrated personality, am I there in that? This is what is the idea of mindfulness that way. My mind has nothing else to do at that point of time, doing that work. This is the idea, capable of doing, and the work is efficient when we do it. When my mind is split between 2, 3, 4 things, then the work is not efficient. So therefore, the idea is to see that I should be able to come back and switch over to the next work and come back and switch over to that work. So this is what we have such a beautiful example. Bhojaraja is supposed to be the king, but he said the moment he comes out of that throne, he says that I am Bhoja, I'm not Bhojaraja. That means that Raja is gone, it's over. So this is the freedom that we should have. That's the freedom that we have. Because of that freedom that we have, we do all kinds of work. That's why I give a beautiful example that this person handles tons of crores of rupees of Indian economy, Modi. He comes to his mother. He's like a small little child. His mother gives him on his birthday 500 rupees. Oh, how carefully he takes that, keeps it in the pocket, and when he goes to the temple, he puts it in the temple, hopefully, from his own pocket. When you look at it, see that he is their only child. They is not prime minister. Can we do that? That's what is one. Our Sarpanch cannot come out of his, even though he is defeated in the next election. Ex-Sarpanch, it never come out of it. So, unfortunately, that is how the whole idea is to see that you can come out of it, you can handle different kind of this efficiently. That's the only thing. So, this is the idea of yoga. So, now the techniques are why the problem is coming into your mind, because essentially you have not disciplined your mind. We have a method of discipline, we can do it, and we have done it. But mind we did not discipline. Abhyasa is a discipline. Like for example, we have always been disciplined, like alphabets when we wrote. Is it not disciplining? Every alphabet at least we would have written 100 times. Before it is A, B, C. Relentlessly we are done like a child. We did it. In spite of doing all those things, we still have confusion because a child practices so very well about that. He's very proud now he can write all the alphabets. But then an uncle comes home. Uncles are always naughty fellows. He comes home and says, yes, I learned all. Okay. So write D. This fellow writes straight line. Now, question D comes this side or that side. Confusion. Small little things we have the confusion. But we did the discipline. And discipline is part of the nature. See, nature, everything is discipline. So therefore, discipline is part of the nature. Hands go one behind the other in a discipline. The birds fly in the sky in such a wonderful discipline. They don't clash. Just beautifully sail through. So in the nature, when you look at, there's so much of discipline. Hands have discipline and animals have discipline. Look at the way early morning the cows get up and then go to the forest. That's why it is called as Bodhuli. Very good. The birds get up early in the morning and then that's why we have cuckoo clock. So birds have discipline, animals have discipline. We also have discipline. Children have that discipline. They get up exactly at the same time. They go to the bed exactly the same time. Whether Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, any day it is the same thing. We were also doing that as we have children. But then as we have grown up slowly, somehow where the discipline has got, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, we get up, we go to the office, we go to the office. Saturday, Sunday comes, there is no sign of getting up. Why? Weekend. Weekend. Sun does not have any weekend, moon does not have any weekend, no stars have any weekend, no planets have weekend. We have taken their names also, Buddha, Shiva, Guru, Shukra, Allah. They don't have any weekend. That's why Swami Chittananda says, we are weekend. Because discipline is a strength. Indiscipline is a weakness. And this culture, we have so much of discipline in this culture. Yes, so many different varieties of discipline that is there. Because every discipline you do, it becomes a strength. Why? Because when you are not disciplined, that means whatever the way that you would like to go, it just goes. Whereas, say, no, it is discipline. That means to say, you are disciplining. That means to say, your willpower is disciplined. So, where the discipline comes from within, it strengthens our willpower. So, when once you have strengthened the willpower, that means you are the master, then you say that intellect also, yes, when it is useful, I use it, otherwise, I'll get back to myself. This is what is the discipline. Advantage of discipline is, I don't get stuck up in the world outside, I can come back to myself. I can easily go back. This is what is the purpose of discipline. Discipline is a strength. Look at the way that all those people going in the city market looks like a crowd. But the same people, you put them in rank and file and make them march in front of Red House, the Red Fort. That's what is the strength of the nation. Look at the amount of strength that is there. Strength comes in the discipline. In fact, that's one of the reasons why they are so much afraid of RSS. Because there is no other organization which has a discipline. Millions of people are there, but everywhere there is discipline. Only in that organization. Nobody speaks other than the persons who are meant to speak. See that. and then try to give that discipline right from the childhood, the way that the child accepts it. It's not anywhere else, you can't replace RSS, you can't replicate RSS. That's the beauty of it. That's why they are afraid of it. Discipline is a strength, discipline is nature. And in fact, psychologists say the countries, the culture where there is less trust in the discipline, you can find a lot of psychological aberrations. Like America, is just opposite to discipline. That's why in America, everybody has a psychiatrist because psychological aberrations are there. You can't even say anything to anybody. That's what is the idea. So discipline is part of nature. Discipline is something that we need to. So discipline is one way. Because I could discipline my handwriting, I could discipline my cycle riding, I can do this thing. The same way I can discipline my mind also. That's what is the abhyasa, method of practice. So that I discipline my body, mind, etc. I can become self. The second thing is vairagya, non-attachment. Actually, when you leave a work and then the work is still hanging on you, some problem is hanging on you. Why is it hanging on? Because that you are holding it. The activity is not holding you. The object is not holding you. But then you are holding on to it. It's you who is holding. So you give it up. Like for example, you in a hurry get a fast everything, and then you come out of the house and then go to the work. After going to the work, suddenly you remember, did they lock the house or not? My God. Even if you didn't lock the house is not bothered. It's you are bothered.
Actually, what happens is, I'll be fine. My husband, and I lock Maria. Then
Right.
from there, I'll be so tense. Lock the door.
Right.
Especially when something is on the ಇದು ಒಲೆ ಮೇಲೆ ಆಫ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೆ ಇಲ್ವೋ ಅಂತ ತಲೆಗೆ ಹೋಗ್ಬಿಟ್ರೆ
Right. ಇನ್ನದು ಕೊಡಿತಾನೆ particularly the earlier culture, earlier way of life, all these things wouldn't have happened. Like for example, when we were all kids, when we had to go out, we start searching, where are the keys? The house, where is the lock? We don't find where the lock, where the key at. Then my mother would say, simply bolt it and come out. We don't bother about it. Several days we went like that. So it doesn't bother. Whereas today, it's not like that. It just holds on. So therefore, essentially, the house is not bothered us. We are bothered. And the more that more things are there, more you are caught up in the world outside. It doesn't give you freedom. So therefore, who is holding it? You are holding it. But give up this hold. Is there a way that I could give up this hold? That's what, non-attachment. It's possible. It's there in your nature. Like for example, as a child, we were holding so many things very important. You go to the beach, get nice, wonderful colored pebbles and all that, and you like it. So nice, you put it in his pocket. Why are you collecting all this dirty stuff? Parent child. The child says, dirty stuff? This is so beautiful, this stone. You carry the notes, which is dirty stuff actually. But then, and the problem is, mother's problem is not that. The problem is when he puts all his clothes in the washing machine, finish, the whole thing comes. Gee, you brought all this stuff and all that. This fellow shout, what is this? Why are you shouting at me? He doesn't even understand what's the problem. But the same child, when he grows to 5, 6, 7 year old, all that, whatever collecting the pebbles and all that becomes unnecessary. That means he outgrows. When you outgrow, non-attachment happens naturally. So what Vedanta, what yoga says is not to give it up, but to outgrow. That's important. The outgrowing is something which is the method of yoga. The vairagya, vitaraga iti vairagya. Raga means attachment. That giving up, that leaving you, vita, that not being there is what is vairagya. But unfortunately, people give a wrong notion to it. How beautifully in Mrityunjaya mantra we say that how this Vairagya is. This is that Uruvarkameva bandhana mrityor mukshiya mamritatu. The fruit is holding onto the tree. And you try to plug the tree fruit, the tree gets disturbed, fruit gets disturbed, all those things happen. But then what do you have to do it? You allow the raw fruit to become ripe. When it becomes ripe, it is still holding onto the tree, but you touch it, it comes out. So is it giving up the tree is important or is it ripening important? Ripening will give you the result of that ripening is that you come out of the tree. This ripening is very important. When you ripen, that means you are steady, stable, you can come out of it. In fact, what are the signs of ripening? Is that raw fruit does not have a color, does not have a taste, does not have any aroma, but the same raw fruit becomes ripened. Then you see that it spreads so much of fun. It has such a beautiful color, yellow, red, beautiful colors and all those things. And then aroma and taste. Until yesterday, it did not have any taste. Today, it became ripe one. You can see the wonderful taste that is there. So all these things are nothing but coming out of. And when it happens, then you see another thing is that fruit which ripens will be useful. A raw fruit may not be useful even for next generation. Whereas the ripe one, the seeds will fall anywhere and invites everything, friendly to everything. So when we actually detach ourselves from that world, you become unfriendly, and the world will not accept you, will not like you, and you also become against the world. In the sense that look, there's a big danger that the people who taken sannyas. I was moving with those people. I said, look at the people, poor fellows. They're still attached to the money. They're still attached to the car. They're still attached. Arey Baba, more than that, you are attached to them. They're okay, they use the car, they need to use the car. But you are always thinking about that. There's one person who was there when I was in college. Actually, he was talking to me, he was senior to us and all that, he was a big man. And then he told that because I was interested in Vedanta philosophy and those things, so Ramakrishna Mission activity he pulled us into. That's a big man, therefore, that he. And later I came to know that he became a sannyasi somewhere in Ashram. So I happened to go there. Suddenly I looked at one sannyasi's face. Yeah, he seemed to be like the same fellow that I was talking about. So I said, sir, are you the same person that is so and so? This man became so mad at me, so angry at me. Looked at me and said that, don't call me my Purashma name. How I was found. I said,
So he's attached to Purvashrama more than sannyasi.
more than the sannyasi. That attachment is there. So this is what is. And it's a very simple thing. See, look at the way that when you keep your foot on the staircase, you see that that foot is steady, stable, that step is good and supports your weight and all that. And afterwards, you put the weight and then raise the previous step. And then go to the next step. Once you put the foot in the next step, you come out of it. You don't say that, look, very carefully I put this, I don't want to come out of it. And then where do you go? You don't work anywhere. In order to go, that you have to have this vairagya. Without vairagya, you cannot go. We have had that. As a child, we were children. But then the moment we became adolescent, we came out of that. Adolescent we came up. But then we became adults. There are some people who don't become adults. So this is what? It's a natural process. Vairagya is within us. Vairagya is a growth. Vairagya is always aiming at the growth. And therefore, that Vairagya is a methodology. So these are the two essential techniques by which that you can proceed. It's not that simple. It's much more deeper maybe. Abhyasa is where it's a step-by-step process. There's 1 to second, second to third, third to fourth. Yes, learning also, abhyasa, discipline. First of all, you write alphabets, Then you see that how the combination of little words and all that. And before that, you see that big picture is there, small little name is there, so that you connect with it. You see, a big picture of fish is there, and below that it is fish. And then you see that fish is impressive. Huh? Look at that his book. And then that fish is important. So that means now what happens? Afterwards, you don't have to show him fish. You ask him to write fish, he will write fish. See, that means slowly you come out of it. Now this fish, you can use it so many varieties. You can use the sentence. The fish is alive. Fish lives in water. So like that. You see how we develop step by step by step. This is what the growth. Abhyasa is always step by step. Vairagya is not like that. So therefore, Abhyasa is organized. Vairagya is disorganized. But when we say disorganized, it's not opposite to organized. Organized, what we call it as essentially that orderliness. Disorganized, what we call it as chaos. And in the nature, both these things are there. Orderliness and chaos, both these things exist.
Raghuramji, one can also argue, you said Urva Rukamiva Bandhana, right? That sannyasi, maybe we can say he has not become that Urvaruka yet, not separated. So that can also be a process to get to that fruit completely from raw to fruit. Isn't it a slow process?
It's a slow process. But only thing is that what is the torture that you go through in the process? See, prematurely that you have taken that. That itself is, that's why I said in the big thing that, before that I said that, a person who prematurely gives up, he only sees the others. See, this fellow is bad, he's still behind this money, he's still behind this thing. You find out only the fault. There is the growth. And the person who is in that, that's why I said that prematurely don't give it up. Two sannyasis going on Himalayas. I give this example. An older sannyasi is going in the front, younger sannyasi is going in the front, older is following behind. It's a narrow bridge. Naturally, younger one goes ahead, older one is very cautious. And they came halfway on the bridge, and there's a girl sitting there. And only one person can walk, and then the fellow says, please go ahead, so that we also could cross the road. Then she said, I wanted to cross, I came halfway. Look at the big gorge down below, Himalayas. I'm confused, I'm getting giddiness. And so I'm holding it, I can't go forward and backward. The first sannyasi said, okay, you sit on my shoulder, I'll take you across. So he lifted it up and put on my shoulder. And then crossed. After crossing the bridge, he dropped her. And then both the sannyasis continued to walk for next half an hour. The second sannyasi could not hold any longer. Older one. So he asked the first sannyasi and said, look, we are sannyasis. We're not supposed to look at women. Talking is bad, and touching is blasphemous. And you carried that? Good. Is it not wrong on your part? The first sannyasi asked the second fellow, I dropped her across the bridge. You are carrying her. So your hatred carries that. So that's why if you understand the philosophy behind it, then you don't know that. So that's why we have two different paths that is there. One is the discipline, and the other is, some people are there just suddenly by some grace, something like that, they just drop off. They don't have to do any of those things. Like Shankara, he didn't have to do anything. He just gave up when he was 7-year-old. He said, I'm going. Because the project in front of him just stuck him. He said, I have to do this. And I have no time to do that. Spare. That's what he has done. So some people are there who can go like that. Some people can see. So there is one thing called as Abhyasa, and the other is Vairagya. One is called as orderliness, and the other is chaos. Now when you look at it in the nature, both these things are there. Look at the way both palms, very symmetrical. You just put them together, they are symmetrical, 5 fingers and exactly the same thing. But then when you look at the fingerprints, chaos. No two fingerprints are alike. See chaos. Why there is no order? Yes, part of the nature is chaos. Similarly, leaves on the tree, you can see from a distance, you can identify the tree. That this must be, when going in the bus and then you see a car, you see some crop is there. I say, oh, this crop, and this is coconut. No, this is not coconut, this is something else. Or this is something like that. You know that by seeing the leaf, by seeing the tree, that you can find out. Because similar leaves, that means that abhyasa, discipline is there. But then when you go to each tree, they're so totally different, unique. There is chaos. Nature always chaos and orderliness, they are together, knit together, part of the nature. You cannot find one without the other. Like a drop is leaking from the tap. A very simple example. As the drop is leaving as the drop is growing, you see there is a discipline. Then you can exactly measure how naturally every moment it is. But then when does it leave the tap, you don't know. It's vairagya. Just suddenly it drops. Same thing you can see when you blow the balloon. In the beginning, when you hold the balloon, abhyasa. Slowly it's becoming bigger. As long as it's becoming bigger and bigger, you are happy. It comes to a level where it's going to blast. You see the tension in you. Vairagya. When does it happen? This is what is the nature. Abhyasa. Nature has always these two things together. So this is what Patanjali gives. Abhyasa vairagyabhyam tarvibhava. Both these things are in the nature, both these ways that you do it. Abhyasa vairagya. There are techniques of yoga which are supposed to be abhyasa, techniques of yoga which are vairagya. Look at the simple technique that you see, that it is about abhyasa, is the idea that you do the asanas. But at the same time you do shavasana, let go. Means what? Relax your shoulders. Then we'll give it up. So vairagya is there. Both these things have to go hand in hand. Yes.
Just I thought that maybe this we can apply in our daily life also.
Absolutely.
Like
right.
routine, daily routine. Like we get up in the morning, we follow the discipline, and maybe every work we do according to the time or by enjoying, by being mindful, everything
Yes.
we do. And at certain point of time, something will not be in our control. And then you can come out and become a by that.
Right.
We can apply it.
Right. So both these things, the life, all these things are in the life itself. There is nothing which is outside the life. So both these things have to go hand in hand in such a way that they complement each other. Child's growth is the best example. They say child growth spurt. You heard that? The child is growing. See, initially the child is growing step by step by step. But after some growth, it looks like child doesn't grow, stunt. And then you rush to the child was increasing weight, everything was like that. But now the child is not growing, I see the child is the same way. Mother is worried. Actually, what's happening is, in the beginning, the child is growing, building the whole thing. But then later on, it's filling inside. That's what is Vairagya. In the Vairagya, actually you're strengthening yourself, you're building your system to see that you grow. So both these things are in the nature. And there is so much of work is done on this idea of non-Vairagya, which is supposed to be the chaos. There's a whole lot of chaos theory is there in psychology, in the physics. Physics did not accept in the beginning chaos, but later on they had to accept the chaos. There is one great scientist who got his Nobel Prize on chaos theory. That's what Elias Prigogine. And we had a lot of interactions with him and all that. So therefore, now all the techniques of yoga can be divided into these two, Abhyasa and Vairagya. So there are, and not only that, they are also complementary to each other. That's why Abhyasa, Vairagya. Abhyase natu kaunteya, Vairagye nacha grihate. Tu cha is used as one complementing the other, one helping the other. But idea is to see that you grow. Your growth should not be compromised on that process. This is what is the idea. So now, in the lifetime, in the life activity, there is vritti, there is activity, and there is a moment where vritti nirodha is there. And one of the greatest examples of vairagya, greatest examples of chaos, is going to sleep. Just cannot know when do you go to sleep. Happens. Just happens. That's a very important part.
And also, Raghuramji, interesting you said, only if you stop abhyasa, then you go to vairagya in this case. Because if you keep thinking, I want to sleep, I want to sleep, that is abhyasa. You can never get vairagya, right?
Yeah. All the preparations you make and wait. That's sleep happens. That's why I always give the example. A gross thing like sleep, you cannot do it, it happens. How can you think samadhi is something that you do it? Allow it to happen.
Hmm.
So under the techniques of abhyasa, karma yoga is one technique.
Cool. I'm just relating, Raghuramji,
Yeah.
that when we are physically very tired, for example, during the day you work and maybe you do swimming and jogging and gym and whatever it is, yoga, you get tired, which is abhyasa, and then automatically it takes you to the sleep, right? Because the sleep is very deep. The same way, I think in this context, philosophical context, when the abhyasa is so stringent, maybe that leads us to slowly vairagya and then automatically samadhi happens.
Yes, samadhi happens. Like the way sleep happens, samadhi happens.
So it is a circle, right, Ramji? So discipline, what abhyasa,
And then-
vairagya, again will again
Yeah.
repeat.
That's why I always say that you should put you do the abhyasa is like shavasana, not letting go. But then you do the abhyasa of that vairagya. I mean, sorry. Yes, you do the abhyasa, that means day after you practice samadhi, shavasana. But what we do normally is that we do the vairagya of abhyasa. We give up the practices. Don't do that. We should do the abhyasa of the vairagya, not the vairagya of the abhyasa. Vairagya, if you do the vairagya of abhyasa, then I'll come back a year later, say what happened? Whatever you said, we stop there.
So maybe that is lethargy, right? If you do vairagya of abhyasa, maybe that leads us to lethargy and then
Right.
direction.
In fact, there is another very important aspect is that in the creation, these two things are there. In fact, that's another point that we need to recognize. Before we go to Karma Yoga, creation has these two aspects of it. If only Vairagya is there, creation will not exist. If only Abhyasa is there, creation will not exist. Creation cannot exist only with the help of discipline. Please understand that, particularly people who are so much caught up disciplining, they have to be more careful about that. I'll tell you about in the nature how this abhyasa and vairagya has been embedded. Beautifully, how intelligently the God's creation talk about it. Stop it here.
Any questions anybody has before we close?
So it is, we learned from it. So it is like, physically we are stressed, then we can go for what they say, vairagya, and mentally we are stressed, either we can go for vairagya or again go to another abhyasa. Like I'm thinking in the way that you can either go for walking or
It's not so easy.
Ah,
That's why all Karma Yogas, not only Karma Yoga, both Raj Yoga and Karma Yoga are huge way goes into the detail. But before that, I would like to I would like to give a quote. There is another subtle way that nature has this aspect of abhyasa and vairagya. We have to do that. We have to look into that. Then your question will come to that
Then I was, this I asked because when I was little morning sick,
Yes.
I was thinking little physically stressed also, mentally stressed also. My mind was saying, go for sleep, go for sleep. But then again, I changed it, go for walk. I went to walk.
Yeah.
Then it became little, I became
Right.
refreshed. Okay.
That aspect I would like to cover in the Karma Yoga. What is that when mind is tired, that you do the work activity? How you have divert the mind and all that, that is what basically comes into the analysis of that. Understanding of that.
ಆಗಲೇ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು
Sorry?
ಡೋರ್ ಡಸ್ ನಾಟ್ ಬಾದರ್ ಅಂತ ನಾವು ವಿಚಾರ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು.
ಮನೆ ಲಾಕ್ ಮಾಡದೇ ಇದ್ದಾಗ
ಮನೆ ಲಾಕ್ ಮಾಡದೇ ಇದ್ದಾಗ ನಾವು ಆ ಡೋರ್ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಬಾದರ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ, ಬಟ್ ಡೋರ್ ಬಾದರ್ ಮಾಡಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ, ಬಟ್ ಹ್ಯೂಮನ್ ಇರೋದೇ ಹಾಗೇನಾ ಅಥವಾ ಮೆಂಟಲಿ ಆಗಿರ್ತಾರೆ ಅಂತ.
What? Human?
ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಮನುಷ್ಯರು ಇರೋದೇ ಹಾಗೇನಾ ಅಥವಾ ಮೈಂಡಲ್ಲಿ ಆ ಥರ ಪ್ರಿಪೇರ್
Mind and nothing. It's not Manisha Iroda. Mind and it. It's not in the mind. In fact, what happens, let me give a small hint. If you just close your eyes and go back to remember what you have done. See that yes, I locked the door, I don't have to bother about it. Just because somebody suggested, I don't have to become alerted about that. So that it comes about. That's one of the reasons why we say that the most important factor that yoga gives us is the factor called awareness. I give you this idea that just prematurely I'm giving this idea, but later on we go deeper. In the normal activity when we are doing it, you will be very surprised to see that your degree of awareness is only 2 to 3-5%, not more than that. Mechanically you will be doing it. It's like a robotic way that you are doing. Like you are driving the car. You change the gear, you change the stick, you turn the steering. You don't even bother about what you are doing. Fortunately, some cow comes in the way, your awareness comes up. Otherwise, not awareness. And that too to scold the cow. That's all. Otherwise. I see how many housewives are making chai and talking to Saheli. And then everything is boiling, they take the sugar dabba and put the sugar, put the dabba back, and then you put the sugar. Arey, put the sugar just now because I remember that I took out the dabba. Should I put the sugar on? So that level, we miss that awareness. In yoga, you cannot do yoga without 60-70% of your degree of awareness.
So sorry, yoga?
Physical exercise does not require your awareness. Really look at the way that these exercises, that you know that what is that this exercise, that exercise, all those smart ladies come and then do. There's no awareness at all. Aerobics at all. They do it. Whereas yoga, it is not like that. When you are bending back, inhale. Who is inhale? You have to do it. So your awareness is not about. So in a day, if you are doing 1 hour yoga, 1 hour you're maintaining about 50% of your awareness. That will percolate to the rest of the time. The rest of the time, your awareness instead of 3 to 4%, it will jump up to at least about 10%, 12%. It's a big gain. That's what is it.
Another thing actually, Raghuramji, is that when you're aware, I think your joyfulness is a lot more,
It's a lot
right?
more.
When you're unaware, mechanically doing, but then it's not joyful experience.
Right. You see, our lack of awareness comes because you want to get rid of that work. You don't want to do that work. That's why you just want to finish that work. And today's terminology is like that. We don't enjoy the food, That's why say, come on, let's finish food. Hurry. What happened to you? Finish food is not to finish. Eat, digest, and enjoy every bit of eating. So that terminology itself has changed. Let's go and finish the food.
I remember my husband saying, sometimes I will say, "Adu maadu mugisbidu, and then he will say, "Maadu mugisadu, I remember.
All these things come into. Now you see the scope of Karma Yoga.
So again, earlier you said that Karma Yoga and Raj Yoga. Raj Yoga ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ನಾನು ಮುಂದಿನ ದಿನಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾದರೂ ಅದ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಏನಾದರೂ idea
ರಾಜಯೋಗ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಬೇಕಾದಷ್ಟಿದೆ.
ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಟೋಟಲಿ ಡಿಫ್ರೆಂಟ್ ಆಗಿದೆ ಅಂತ.
They go almost like similar techniques, side by side technique. Okay, Karma Yoga and Raj Yoga, they go side by side. I will talk about that. I will explain about Karma Yoga, bit of it. I won't go into the details of Karma Yoga. But then bit of Karma Yoga, then I will, from there I switch on to a bit of Raj Yoga, then I switch on to Karma Yoga.
ನೀವೇನು ಹೇಳಿದ್ರಿ ಭಕ್ತಿ ಮತ್ತೆ ಜ್ಞಾನ, ರಾಜ ಮತ್ತೆ ಕರ್ಮ ಎರಡು ಮಾಡಿದ್ರಲ್ಲ. ಯಾಕೆ ನಾನು
I
ಮತ್ತೆ
have come to that now.
ನೀವು ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರಿ
Yes.
ಮತ್ತೆ
It is still ahead. Because first of all, Abhyasa Vairagya should complete it.
ಅದು ನೀವು ಇದೇ ಲೆಕ್ಚರ್ ಸೀರೀಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ
Yes.
you had put
Under the Abhyasa, Raj Yoga and Karma Yoga.
Okay.
Under the Vairagya, Jnana Yoga, Bhakti Yoga.
ಓಕೆ
These are the two things. But
ಅದು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ
I need to make that classification separately. Imagine the people for 10,000 years, they have thought about all those things. What a genius we had in this country.
ರಘುರಾಮ್ ಜಿ ವೈರಾಗ್ಯ ಅಭ್ಯಾಸ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರಲ್ಲ, ಫಸ್ಟಿಗೆ ಮೆನ್ಷನ್ ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಬರುತ್ತೆ? ಫಂಕ್ಷನ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಬರುತ್ತಾ? ಫಸ್ಟಿಗೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿಗೆ ಫಸ್ಟಿಗೆ ಅಲ್ಲೇ ಬರೋದು.
So I have something. They say right, ಕಾಶಿಗ ಹೋದಾಗ ಏನಾದ್ರು ಇಷ್ಟ ಇದ್ದದ್ದು you should leave and come.
ಅಲ್ಲ ತಗೊಂಡ್ಬರ್ಬೇಕಾ ಕಾಶಿಗೆ ಹೋಗ್ಬೇಕು ರಾಮೇಶ್ವರ
ನೀವು ಹೇಳಿ.
Like the
Yes,
food you
what
would
you
like,
really
you would like. So since when you were talking about Vairagya, I was just wondering, is the idea behind this
Yeah.
that you learn to outgrow, or
Right.
ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಸಮ್ ಪೀಪಲ್ ಏನ್ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ, ನಮ್ಗೆ ಗೋವಾ ತುಂಬಾ ಇಷ್ಟ, ನಾನು ಬಿಟ್ಬಿಟ್ಟೆ, ನೋಡಿದಾಗ ತುಂಬಾ ಆಸೆ ಆಗತ್ತೆ ಅನ್ನೋದ. ದಟ್ಸ್ ಒನ್ ಆಸ್ಪೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಇಟ್. ದೆನ್ ದೇರ್ ಆರ್ ಅದರ್ ಪೀಪಲ್ ಹೂ ಸೇ, ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಏನ್ ಗೊತ್ತಾ, ನೀವು ಬ್ಲಾಕ್ ಬೆರಿ ಆರ್ ವಾಟೆವರ್ ದೋಸ್ ಬ್ಲೂ ಬೆರೀಸ್ ಬಿಟ್ಬಿಡು, because you may like it or not, but it is so expensive and so rare, you individually don't get it. So other bit because it's so much easier to leave. So what is the idea behind it? Is it to learn how to grow?
ಅದಕ್ಕೋಸ್ಕರ ಕಾಶಿಗೆ ಹೋಗಿ ಬಂದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಏನ್ ಬಿಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಹೆಡ್ ಬಿಟ್ಬಿಡ್ಬಾರ್ದು.
He is outgrowing.
The idea is that way, that actually it comes up to the idea of non-attachment, which is one thing. And you try to find out a situation where you are in such a extraordinary, ecstatic way. Say, I can be happy this way. Why am I holding on to something which is so inferior? There's no need for me to hold on to it. So therefore, this is a one-to-one moment that I'm experiencing there. I don't want to have this anymore. You give it up. So that is the first thing, is that it's not giving up the joy. You are establishing that joy even without that. And that you recognize yourself as the way that you give up. That's it. Not because it's very expensive, not because it's not good for
There
health.
is things that I hear and I'm like, okay, that's not the right attitude.
That's not the right
ಇನ್ನೂ ಮಜಾ ಇದೆ. ಯಾವುದೋ ಒಂದು ಮಠದಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಊಟ ಬಡಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದ್ವು. ಅವಾಗ ಬಡಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾಗ ಏನೋ ಇದು ಆಲೂಗಡ್ಡೆನೋ ಆಲೂಗಡ್ಡೆ ಅಲ್ಲ ಬದನೆಕಾಯಿನೋ ಹಾಕ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರು. ಇಲ್ಲ ನೀವು ತಿನ್ನಿ ಪರವಾಗಿಲ್ಲ, ನೀವು ಬಿಟ್ಟಿದ್ದೀರಾ ಕಾಶಿ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿದೆ, ಆದ್ರೆ ಪ್ರಸಾದ ಇದೆ ತಿನ್ನಿ ಪರವಾಗಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ. ಇವರು ಖುಷಿ ಆಯ್ತು, ನೀವು ಪ್ರಸಾದನ ಹಾಕಿ
That's it.
Because there are so many people speaking about loopholes. Okay, mean guava bitre parvadilla, but once you cut it and put chili powder, it is a different form. So either you can eat.
But what he said is wonderful,
Yes.
that
Right.
even without that I can be happy.
Yes, yes,
Right.
yes.
So
That is the way that we are convinced about it.
Right, right.
longing for this.
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
Shanti Mantra.
Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.